They told me to stay calm, to keep my pressure down, to avoid stress, as if anyone ever learned how to stop their own heart from racing. It's a cruel joke, isn't it? You spend your whole life swallowing emotions. Then one day, your body starts choking on them. My name isn't important anymore. What matters is the pounding in my chest, the kind that makes the world blur and the nurses rush. They call it hypertension. But to me, it feels like a long sentence I've been writing with every unshed tear. Every quiet night, I pretended I was fine. I've always been the composed one, the peacemaker, the strong one, the one who never cried, never complained, never said, "I'm hurting." My husband died 20 years ago, and I never let myself grieve. People said, "You're handling it so well." They meant it as a compliment. I took it as an order. I smiled at funerals, laughed at holidays, hosted dinners like nothing inside me had cracked. I became the woman who made sure everyone else was okay. The one who brought soup to the sick, flowers to the grieving, calm to the chaos. The quiet caretaker of everyone's pain but my own. And the truth is, it felt good at first. Being needed gives you purpose. It fills the emptiness, but it also steals from you quietly. Every "I'm fine," you say, is a coin you drop into a jar of denial. And one day, that jar bursts. Mine burst the day I woke up with my heart pounding so hard I thought someone was knocking from the inside. I sat on the floor, gasping, clutching my chest, waiting for it to stop. It didn't. It just kept going faster, louder, as if all those years of silence had found a voice and were trying to shout their way out. The doctors said I was lucky. Lucky that I'd made it in time. Lucky that I hadn't had a stroke. Lucky that all I needed was rest. Rest, that word, made me laugh. I hadn't rested in decades. How do you rest when you've trained your body to live in apology? I'd spent my life being careful not for me, but for others. Careful not to upset, careful not to argue, careful to be pleasant, composed, kind. But kindness without honesty is poison. It eats you from the inside out, slowly, politely, until one day your blood learns how to scream. When I was younger, my mother told me emotions were for weak women. Be graceful, she said. Grace gets you through life. Feelings get you in trouble. So I folded myself neatly into that shape. The calm wife, the patient mother, the reliable friend. I became an expert in holding my breath. When my husband yelled, I said nothing. When my children disappointed me, I smiled. When my body ached, I called it age. I thought endurance was love. I thought silence was strength. But strength isn't holding everything in. It's knowing when to let go before it breaks you. I remember the first time my blood pressure spiked. I was visiting my son. His wife was busy with the kids, and he barely looked up from his phone when I tried to talk to him. I felt invisible, like a ghost passing through my own family. I smiled anyway, served dinner, washed dishes, but inside, I felt the pressure building not just in my veins, but in every unspoken word I'd ever swallowed. When I got home, I took my medication, poured a cup of tea, and stared at the wall for hours. I realized I had built a life of perfect composure and complete isolation. People think loneliness is being alone. It's not. It's being surrounded by people who only know the version of you that never asks for help. I created that version. I built her out of pride and fear. Fear of being seen as needy. Fear of being a burden. I thought love was something you gave, not something you asked for. But the body knows when you're lying. The heart, especially, it keeps score. Every time I said, I'm okay, when I wasn't, it stored the truth somewhere deep, waiting. Every suppressed sob, every swallowed apology, every quiet heartbreak, all of it translated into numbers the doctor could read on a monitor. The nurses here are kind. They speak softly, as if words themselves could raise my blood pressure. They tell me to breathe slowly, to picture calm places. But calm isn't a place you find. It's a muscle you have to rebuild after a lifetime of neglect. Sometimes, late at night, when the monitors beep in rhythm with my pulse, I think about all the times I wanted to shout and didn't. All the moments I wanted to cry and smiled instead. And I wonder how many women like me are lying awake somewhere right now, their hearts pounding under the weight of unspoken things. My daughter visits when she can. She's kind, but distracted. I can see myself in her, the tight smile, the careful tone, the polite exhaustion. She hugs me and says, "You need to relax." Mom, I almost laugh. I want to tell her that relaxation isn't a skill you can learn at 60. It's a way of living. You have to practice from the beginning by saying no, by saying enough, by letting yourself be seen without the armor. But I don't say it. Old habits delust. So I smile, take her hand, and whisper, "I'm proud of you." She smiles back, not realizing that I'm also warning her, don't become me. The doctors say stress kills. They say anger kills. But no one talks about how politeness kills, too. How the endless need to be good, to be agreeable, to be small enough for everyone else's comfort, kills you more quietly than any disease. I think about all the women I've known who died early, not from heart attacks, but from heartbreaks that were never allowed to speak. The ones who smiled through migraines, who kept their pain tidy and invisible, who apologized for taking up space. The world calls them graceful. I call them casualties. When I was younger, I used to watch thunderstorms and feel terrified. Now I envy them. Storms don't apologize. They just release everything all at once. Noise, light, rage, beauty. And then they're calm again. Maybe that's what healing really looks like. Not constant serenity, but honesty. The freedom to erupt and still survive. If you're listening to this, and you're one of those people who always keeps it together, please, let yourself fall apart sometimes. Cry in the kitchen, shout in the car, say no without an excuse. Let someone else carry your weight for a day. Your body isn't an enemy, it's a messenger. When it shakes, when it throbs, when it screams through pain, it's not betraying you, it's begging you to listen. Every illness starts as a whisper. Every symptom is a story you refuse to tell. The nurses say, I'll have to stay on medication for the rest of my life. That's fine. I can live with that. What I can't live with anymore is pretending I used to believe the goal was to die with dignity. Now I think the goal is to live with honesty. Dignity is overrated. Peace is better. Peace doesn't come from control. It comes from surrender. So I've started talking, not much, just small truths. I tell the nurses when I'm scared. I tell my daughter I miss her father. I tell myself it's okay to be tired. Sometimes I even cry, and no one rushes to fix it. They just let me be. It feels strange, but it feels right. Like my body is finally exhaling after decades of holding its breath. If you're hearing this and your heart beats faster for no reason, don't ignore it. But more than that, don't ignore yourself. Take your pressure, take your pulse, but also take inventory of everything you're carrying that isn't yours anymore. Let it go. Say the thing you've been holding in, because I promise you this: the body always keeps count. And if you don't release what hurts, it will find its own way out. I used to think silence was strength. Now I know strength is speaking before the silence becomes permanent. So if you need to cry, cry. If you need to scream, scream. If you need to rest, rest. The world won't fall apart if you stop holding it up for a moment. But you might, and your heart has carried enough